I'm taking my favorite biscuit recipe and making it vegan. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Trish and I am taking a recipe that I've been making for over 25 years now, and I am making it vegan. I've changed my diet to plant-based a couple years ago, and I wanted a biscuit this morning. So I decided to try making them vegan. Now, I've never done this before, so this is the first time I'm doing it. So if it's a total disaster, then it'll be a lesson learned and you'll get to see it. So let's get started. Now, this is a very simple recipe. If you've never made biscuits before, it is really not that difficult to do. As I said, I've been making them for over 25 years. My kids, grew up on them. They are now grown and they make biscuits for their families. So the recipe calls for 2 cups flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of milk, and 1/3 cup of butter. Now, of course, I'm doing it vegan, so I will be using rice milk, and I am trying this vegan butter for the first time. I've never used this kind, Miyoko. It's kind of expensive for just 8 ounces. I think it was almost $6, but I really don't use butter hardly at all since I've switched over. We have butter, my husband uses it, but for myself, I really don't use it. So I decided to take a chance on it. So, okay. So we're gonna get started. And of course I have all my supplies here, got my measuring spoons, my bowl. I think we're gonna have to move over here a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. My pastry cutter, have my pan over here. And so we're gonna get started. Okay. So we're gonna take our 2 cups. Now I really, I just I don't really pack it in. I just kind of shake it to get it to the top of the measuring cup. It's not a perfect, I'm not perfect. Never have a problem these ever coming out. So, okay, tablespoon baking powder. Okay, let's try that again. We're gonna do a teaspoon baking soda, and whoa, we don't want that. Teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're gonna give this a slight stir. Now, I grew up on biscuits. My grandmother made biscuits, although she, we saw her probably about 4 times a year, and it was a special treat when we went there. She would make us biscuits and brown gravy for breakfast, and it was probably one of my most fondest memories of going to my grandma's house, besides the macaroni salad she used to make for us. She was always making a candy, everything for us. I love my grandma. I miss her so much. I wish she was still around. We're gonna cut up 1/3 cup of butter, and we're just gonna cut this into small chunks because when we cut it into our mixture, we want it to resemble pea-shaped, So, and like my dress. I bought this over at the thrift store when I went a couple days ago, and it's just a Walmart special. Nothing special, but I thought it was super cute. So, and it's very comfy. Now, as I said, I've changed my diet over the last couple of years, and just for health reasons. I don't have any moral issues. I still cook meat for my husband because, he doesn't follow the same diet as I do. I switched it to try to bring down my cholesterol because my cholesterol was really bad. And so we will be getting that check soon to see how my fasting and my diet change has hopefully improved it. But okay, we're cutting this in, and I'll show you here in a second what this looks like. I don't know if you can see, you kind of see like they're like pea-sized. So, okay, and we're gonna put in a cup of milk. Now, as I said, biscuits are pretty easy to make. There's only really a couple rules that you have to just keep in mind. One of them being you don't want your, whoa, I'm gonna have a splashy. You don't want your dough to be excessively wet. And the second rule, or thing to keep in mind, is you don't want to work it too much. I only work mine, so now you can kind of see it's not really, it's really wet, and so I don't want it to be that wet. So I'm going to add just a little bit more flour to this. See, now that's a little bit better. You see how it's kind of holding its shape a little bit more. That's what you want. And so I'm going to put some flour down. And as I said, you really don't want to work this too much because your biscuits turn out how that. You want them nice and fluffy and flaky. So, and as I said, I've been doing this for 25 years. It's almost second nature to me. So, but if first time you don't succeed, try again, believe me, because once you start making these, you'll never go back to can, believe me. These are so good. We're gonna work it. Now, you're really only gonna fold it. You're not really gonna roll it out. I don't use a roller, I just use my hands and pat it. And you're just gonna kind of do a folding motion all around it. And you're gonna do it for about 12 times. So. Spread our flour around, and as I said, I just pat mine out. And I pat it out to about maybe a ½ inch. This recipe will give you 12 biscuits, give or take. I mean, sometimes depending on how thick I make them, I'll get 11. Sometimes if I make them not as thick, I'll get maybe 13. So I don't use the biscuit cutter. I use a cup. I don't know. I've just never been comfortable using a biscuit cutter. They just seem so flimsy and everything. I like something I can grab onto. But so this is my cup. I use it all the time. I have a blue one that is the one I really use, but I think it's in the dishwasher. So. Okay, and then you're just gonna cut your biscuits out. As I said, this is, like I said, this is not a hard recipe to make. I don't grease my pan because with the butter in it, you don't really have to. And we like a more crispier bottom on our biscuit, so we don't grease our pan. Now I'm not real sure how these are going to turn out. As I said, I've never made these before, but we're gonna try it without it. And I don't really have my biscuits really touching each other. There's just a tiny bit of space because as they puff up, they will, you know, touch the next biscuit. But you want a little bit of air to cook the sides of them. Otherwise, if they're too close together, your biscuit could bake, but right along the sides it could be a little gummy or slightly undone. So, okay, so we're gonna roll them out again. It's a little sticky. Put a little flour there. Now, I make these for my husband pretty much every single time he comes home. He works out of state, comes home pretty much on the weekends. Depending on the type of job that he's working, sometimes he'll work 9 days on, 5 days off. But whenever he comes home, I tend to make him a batch of biscuits. And, you know, in the past I have had one, you know, when I make it, but I just never really felt that good about eating them. You know, health-wise, with all the butter and milk and stuff in it. So I've just decided I would try to make them vegan. So, okay, now I got 11 biscuits out of here, and I had a little scrap left over. Usually I just roll it into my next, you know, my last biscuit, but that's okay. Okay, now my oven is set for 425, and these will cook for 12 minutes. So we'll be back when they're done. Okay, the biscuits are out of the oven, and I will get a close-up of them. Now the texture is slightly different. I'll put myself on this. This is how they turned out, and this is kind of like what a regular biscuit. It's not much different, but you can, you know, kind of see. My daughter made these a couple days ago for her family, and this is the original recipe that we use. But to me, they look like they turned out really good. And you open them up, and they're still nice. Oh, nice and flaky. Now for the taste test. Wish I had like almond butter and jam. Oh wow. These are good. I like these. Ooh, I am like really excited now. I can eat a biscuit and feel good about it. But yeah, see, they're really nice and tender. I really encourage you to try making them. Like I said, really wasn't that hard to make. And you know, they cook for 12 minutes. And if you don't succeed the first time, don't give up, because it took a couple times for my daughters to really get the hang of it. But now they make them all the time, and it is well worth the time to learn how to make it, because once you learn how to make it, you will never go back to canned biscuits again. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and of course, if you know any other vegan person who likes biscuits and you think they would love learning how to make it, please share. So until next time, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.